Podcast. I am your host, Nizzy, and in this video, you guys are going to be breaking down the matchup from last night where the Raptors were able to oust the Philadelphia 76ers by a final score of 93-88. You guys, a great game from the Toronto Raptors, bouncing back after that tough loss to the Lakers on Friday there on our home court. Obviously, let that one slip between the fingers. Like I said, nice bounce back game versus a tougher opponent in the Philadelphia 76ers. In last night's matchup, Raptors improved to a 40-31 record on their season. Sixers dropped down to a 43-27 record on their season. Like I said, Raptors are back in the win column after a tough loss versus the Lakers after winning 5 games in a row. Had that one tough loss. They get their 6th road win in a row here versus the Sixers team here that's kind of been in shambles in the last few games. They haven't been playing very good basketball as of late. Obviously, they got off to that hot start right after the James Harden trade. The last 6 games prior to that, they're only at a 3-3 record after starting off at a 5-0 hot streak there with James Harden on the team. So they're kind of falling apart a little bit here. Raptors are in a good spot right now, pushing for that 6th seed. I believe we're 1 game back of the Cavs at the moment here, with that huge game coming up against them on Thursday, I believe it is. That'll be a good one to watch here. Got the Bulls coming up tonight as well. They're obviously reeling a little bit lately as well. They could potentially fall back into a play-in spot if they lose a few more games here down the stretch and the Raptors and the Cavs continue to win. So it should be an exciting stretch of basketball. Nonetheless, down the last stretch of, what do we got, about 10 games left in the season here, you guys. Like I said, it's going to be an absolute race to the finish line here. It's going to be playoff caliber basketball the rest of the way going forward. Should be an exciting finish to the season. We'll go ahead and start breaking down some of the team stats here, you guys, right real quick before we go ahead and do that. If you can go ahead and like this video if you like sporting content like this. Go ahead and subscribe to the channel if you're looking for more sporting content like this in the near future. I've been getting a lot of support lately, you guys, and I greatly appreciate it. We're going to keep coming out with as much content as possible for you guys. But without further ado, now let's go ahead and start breaking down the team stats from last night. Both teams shot pretty atrocious in this game. Neither team was really shooting at a hot clip. Raptors only shot 37% as a unit from the field, 35 and 93 from the floor in last night's matchup. Sixers weren't much better. They only shot 41% from the field, 30-73. The big discrepancy amongst those numbers, you guys, is the Raptors having 20 more shots from the field than the Sixers did. Obviously, we didn't go to the line as much as them. Raptors only went to the free throw line 23 times. Sixers went there 28 times. But we just absolutely dusted their asses up on the boards. Like I said, we had 20 more shots from the field than they did. 56 rebounds as a unit in last night's game, you guys. The Sixers only had 40 rebounds. So we had 16 more rebounds than them in last night's game. Absolutely outstanding job by the Raptors, and just absolutely dusted them up on the offensive glass as well. 20 offensive boards for the Raps. Only 5 offensive boards for the Sixers. So you could tell which team wanted it more in this game last night, you guys. I mean, the Raptors were putting in way more effort consistently in last night's game. Obviously, the Sixers got off to a hot start in that first quarter. Other than that, we held them in check pretty well the rest of the game there. Only turned over the ball 8 times as a unit as well. The Raptors did a good job there in the turnover department. Turned the Sixers over 10 times, so we won the turnover battle as well. Scored 50 points in the paint as well, comparatively to their 40. We played like the bigger team in last night's matchup, you guys, even though we didn't have the bigger guys out on the floor. Obviously, they got the 7'2" guy, Joel Embiid, out there, who you would expect to be a menace on the glass. But he hasn't really been, pulling down a shit ton of rebounds. He had 13 boards in last night's game, but it wasn't nothing crazy. You didn't really have anyone else step up defensively for them and rip down a bunch of rebounds. We just got so many 6'9" guys out there. So there's so many mismatches out on the floor. Once you move out of that center position, we're pretty much got the bigger guy out on the floor in every other position out there. So it just makes it real tough on other teams trying to get their own rebounds, especially when we're so tenacious on that offensive glass. It makes a huge difference. Like I said, getting those extra 20 shots. We only made 5 more shots than them, but those 20 extra shots is really what sealed the deal for us. Didn't shoot a great clip from the 3-point line either, 26% as a team. Did a good job holding them down as well, though they only shot 25% as a team, 7-27. We shot 7-26. So the numbers are pretty even across the board in the shooting stroke. Neither team was really hot in the shooting department last night. Raptors only shot 69% from the free throw line, 16-23. But the big numbers there, you guys, was the rebounding was huge for the Raptors last night. Like I said, 16 more rebounds than them, 15 more offensive boards. Turned them over more times, scored more points in the paint. We just played like the bigger squad last night. We played a tougher style of game than they did. And it really paid off in the end there. You guys being able to hang on for the victory there. Like I said, 6 wins in a row on the road now for the Raptors. Precious Achiuwa had a nice performance, 21-point game from him. He just continues to get a little bit better each game, it seems. Harden trade is looking terrible right now. Like I said, they had a good start with Harden. They had 5-0 start with him on the squad. Now they've been 3-3 since then. I think the biggest issue for the Sixers squad since the Harden trade is they have no depth scoring anymore. They lost all their depth scoring pretty much, probably most notably in Seth Curry. I mean, the dude's just been lighting it up for the Brooklyn Nets since he's been over there. They could really use his 20 points a night that he's been scoring as of late. So that's been a huge miss for them, trading him away. And then the other huge miss that I think the Sixers are really, kicking themselves in the ass for right now is the Andre Drummond, sending him over there with Seth Curry and Ben Simmons. Clearly the Nets got the better of the trade. You got an aging James Harden on the Sixers right now who's clearly lost a step. He isn't the same James as he was a few years ago, and he's only getting older at this point in his career as well. And then you lost an absolute rebounding machine. There's no way we would have out-rebounded him by 16 on the glass if they had Drummond in the lineup. He would have easily ripped down 10 to 15 boards in last night's game. The dude's an absolute beast on the boards. He gets you a lot of extra possessions. And it just shocked me. They traded away him, who's, like I said, he gets you a lot of extra possessions. He's a great backup big for when Joel Embiid can't play, or a security blanket in case Joel Embiid gets injured, because obviously he has a lot of injury woes throughout his career. You never know when the next time he's going to be down and out for a few games. So obviously he would have been huge to, kind of cover that off. So getting rid of him is massive. And then obviously getting rid of Seth Curry, man, who's just an absolute bucket getter for you. Like I said, he's getting every time I see his stat line, it seems like he's got north of 20 points with the Nets lately. He's been a huge addition for their squad. And you just lost basically 15 to 20 points a night, losing him to the Brooklyn Nets there. And you haven't really got a guy to replace that scoring. Same thing, you don't have a guy on your squad to replace the rebounding of a Drummond. So I think the Sixers lost this trade as of right now, you guys. We know how Harden crumbles in the playoffs as well in big-time moments. Same with Joel Embiid. He crumbles in the big-time moments in the playoffs too. So they're going to be in a tough spot, man. I don't think they're going to be winning a championship this year. I wouldn't be surprised if these guys get knocked out in the first round. Wouldn't shock me one bit. I just don't think they're tough and gritty enough to be able to make a good playoff push this year. They need a lot more talent around Embiid and Harden to be able to make a good push. I like Maxey and I like Tybal. Tobias Harris has been struggling a lot lately for them. They need to figure out a way to get him more involved in the offense. But they need a couple other, role players coming off that bench that they just don't have right now. That's going to really cost the Sixers team down the stretch. But nonetheless, enough about the Sixers, you guys. Let's talk more about some Raptors here. Let's go ahead and walk through the players' stats before we finish up this video. Start off with the Raptors. Khem Birch had a quiet night, 4.6 rebounds. Only shot 1 of 6 from the field, so not a very good shooting stroke from him last night. Didn't play a lot of minutes. He hasn't been a guy who's been, clocking up heavy minutes for us anyways. He's usually around that 15 to 20 minutes a game mark. So it's not like he's costing you playing 40 minutes a night and producing little points or anything like that. So I'd like to see him get going a little bit better, but it is what it is. At least he pulled down 6 rebounds for us. Achiuwa made all the difference, though, with his huge 21-point performance in last night's game, you guys. 9 rebounds as well as 1 assist to go along with that. 9 of 15 shooting from the field. That 3-point stroke is really looking nice right now. He's shooting with confidence. He's finishing better around the rim. Seems like his hands just got a bit of a softer touch. He's learning how to finish a little bit better through contact around the rim, making some better plays as well with the basketball. He's not trying to play hero ball as much anymore. I noticed that, especially when he's running in transition, if he kind of loses the handle or he's running in transition, ends up running into a double team, instead of trying to make it all happen on his own, he's kind of stepping back and then slinging it back to our point guard, whoever that may be on the floor at the time. He's learning. He's getting better. I'm really enjoying seeing his shooting stroke get a lot better here. Just needs to make a little bit better IQ decisions out on the floor on a consistent basis, and I think he'll be just fine moving forward. Scotty Barnes with a bit of a rough performance last night. Still produced for you, but didn't have, the games that we're accustomed to seeing from this guy as of late. He finished the night off with 13 points, 6 rebounds, 4 assists, and 1 steal. Shot a 6 of 21 mark from the field, so a little bit of a rough shooting night for Scotty. But like I said, he's been so good lately. He's going to have some of those games where he doesn't shoot at a high clip, obviously being a rookie still. But nonetheless, he still provides good hard-nosed defense when he's out on the floor. And he's been playing absolutely outstanding since that All-Star break, so can't harp on the guy too much. For one poor shooting night, I expect him to bounce back big time versus the Bulls tonight. Then you got Siakam, just steady as ever, you guys. 26 points, 10 rebounds, and 5 assists. 10 of 20 shooting. Nice, efficient night from the field. Just doing a little bit of everything out on the floor there for you. I really liked that in that fourth quarter, he kind of took charge and took over the game there for us, making some big baskets to hold on to the lead. Something that I found that he really didn't do versus the Lakers. He kind of sat back and allowed Scotty to try and run the show later in that game. I would have liked to see Pascal kind of take over in the fourth quarter of that game as well, and I think we would have been able to come out with a victory against the Lakers. But nonetheless, he did exactly that in tonight's matchup, or last night's matchup versus the Sixers. You guys took charge in that fourth quarter. We needed it from him. And he's just been playing outstanding basketball these last couple of months here. He's on an all NBA level right now. And we're going to need these performances moving forward if we're going to want to make a good push into the playoffs here. So credit to Pascal, man, playing great basketball lately. Gary Trent Jr. with another atrocity of a performance last night. At least he's bringing some effort on the defensive end there. He had 1 steal in last night's game, 2 boards, 3 assists, only 9 points. Shot 2 of 13 from the field, so another terrible shooting stroke night for him. Like I said, you guys, I think the biggest issue with Gary Trent right now is he's just settling for jump shots too often. He does have the ability to finish around the rack as well as get to the free throw line. He's been hitting his free throws at a high clip. He's not missing those like crazy. So for me, I think he really needs to focus on being a little bit more of a playmaker as well as being more of just a scorer and getting to the rim. There's just too many times where he's settling for the three-point shot or, just instead of taking a quick catch and shoot, he takes the pass and then dribble and then shoots it, ends up bricking it up. So the guy's just out of rhythm right now. I think the best way for him to get back into rhythm is going to be to, like I said, just get closer to the rim with his shots, get to the free throw line a little bit more because he's hitting his free throws, and just stop settling for those long-range jump shots, and I think he'll be just fine moving forward here. Then we got Boucher, you guys, finished the night off with 12 points and 14 rebounds, 4-12 from the field. Not a very efficient shooting night, but had a few shots from the foul line as well that he drained for us. Just an energizer bunny on the glass, though. We needed those rebounds last night and the 12 points from him. He played a really good game. Hard-nosed, obviously, taking that flagrant foul at the end of the game from James Harden with the elbow to the face there. So taking one for the team to help seal the victory in that game for us, you guys. So credit to Boucher. He's been playing a lot better since the All-Star break as well, kind of coming into his own. And we're going to need him to step up. He's going to need to average, that 12 and 14 or 10 and 10. Coming off the bench in the playoffs if we're going to want to have a chance to get through the first round there, you guys, and even the play-in if we end up being in the play-in. So good game from him. Thad Young pitched in nicely, 2 points, 7 boards, 3 assists, 1 steal, and 2 blocks. Shot 1 of 2 from the field. And then you had Brooks come in there and hit a couple nice 3 balls for you, 6 points, 2 boards, and 1 steal coming off the bench. Armani Brooks, he's been a nice little addition. I really like his defensive capabilities. He really puts in a lot of effort on the defensive end of the floor. And if you can get that 3-point stroke dropping at a decent clip for us, you can definitely provide a little spark off the bench. So hopefully we keep him for the rest of the season. I think he's on his second 10-day contract right now, so be interesting to see what happens. That pretty well rounds her up for this one, you guys. 93-88 victory for the Raptors, improved to a 40-31 record on their season. Like I said, huge game tonight versus Chicago. They've been sitting for a couple days, stewing after that tough loss versus the Suns. They've been playing pretty shitty basketball as of late. They've fallen down the standings. I believe they were in first place in the Eastern Conference when we came out of the All-Star break. I think they're in 5th place now, so they've definitely dropped in the standings. They might even drop into the play-in if the Raptors and the Cavs keep winning here down the stretch. So like I said, this is going to be a massive playoff caliber matchup tonight, setting the tone for that big-time game versus the Cavs coming up on Thursday. You guys, that should be an absolute slugfest game. So a couple good ones coming up here for the Raptors. Playoff atmosphere basketball, you guys, is exciting to watch right now. Hopefully the Raptors can keep it rolling and, try and sneak into the top 6 there so we don't got to go into that play-in spot. Would love your guys' opinion in the comments section down below. How do you think we fared in last night's game versus the Sixers, and what do you think our chances are tonight versus the Chicago Bulls coming off a back-to-back here? Would love your guys' opinion on that in the comments section down below. And that pretty well wraps up for this one, you guys. Please go ahead and like this video if you like sporting content like this. Go ahead and subscribe to the channel if you're looking for more sporting content like this in the near future. Thank you guys so much for watching, man, and this is Mizzy with Mizzy Sports Channel. Peace.